Ladies and gentlemen, this next podcast will be scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Nicholas Jason Lopez, and on the other side of the ring, his website, ProWrestlingOpinion.com, your home for pro wrestling news, reviews, and so much more. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Intermission. Episode 5, and I haven't lost my mind. Well, if that's an indicator of anything, it's that indication is an indicator. Wow, I really have to look up my metaphors. Anyway, just browsing social media feeds, obviously last night's Raw, one of the occasional good ones here and there. Lot of banter about Finn Balor pinning John Cena, which I love the idea, by the way. There was a recent story, came out a few months ago, that perhaps Finn Balor was on his way to a huge push, sort of like what was kind of being set up when he first emerged on the main roster. Had a really good intro. Shoulder injury at SummerSlam kind of just derailed the whole thing, and he kind of came back and was just the Balor Club boy. It's hard to describe, but that's just he's kind of the role he had been saddled with, so it's actually good that they're focusing on his, in-ring ability again. And he really should be one of the top players in the company. It's really a shock that he's, been under the radar for so long and that he could finally be the face of a program. Do I think he has any chance against Brock Lesnar? Hell no. But I do think he's going to put on a really good performance, and a good performance will be something that people will remember rather than that, big win. He's probably better off getting at WrestleMania anyway. Just looking through some more things. Ring of Honor has pulled CMLL superstar Rush from the April 4th MLW event, and apparently has taken Rush from MLW altogether. Rush is now expected to compete on the G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden. Well, that pretty much tells you all you have to know. And it's still pretty amazing that ROH would be doing the Garden. That's pretty huge news, actually. And this is coming from somebody who has sat in the audience in 2004 at the Rexplex in Elizabeth, New Jersey. CM Punk and AJ Styles was actually on that card, so that's, it's a little bit, it's been a while. I'm glad to see Ring of Honor has come along. See, it's got me so choked up I can't even get my words out. But for real, it is cool to see how long Ring of Honor has come about. Kudos to them. They've just been following the business model of not doing what WWE does, and it's a brilliant long-term strategy. Can't ask for better than that. Alright, still going through. Why did Forbes just bury Cody like that? One of my friends, Jonathan Escudero, hopefully I pronounced that right, I didn't butcher him and just cost him his friendship with me. But took a snapshot of the Forbes piece. This will not be the case with AEW on a roster that already boasts some of the best wrestlers in the world and Cody. I see what they did there. Well, then again, that could have been just a play on words with Chris Jericho being in there, but I mean, I guess that's a pretty good shot, so I'll just... It was intentional yet unintentional. Who really knows, but I see what they did. Another thing coming about, rumored main event for G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden is an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Tanahashi and Okada. I don't think the Garden could contain that. I don't think the city could contain that. I don't even think New York can contain that. But Again, that's ROH for you. And if you're going to go to the Garden, well, you best come out swinging. Another post, haven't seen a WWE card this stacked in a while. Of course, this would be referring to the Royal Rumble, which seems to now have that really generic logo with the red bar in between the words Royal and Rumble. They had a little theme going. I mean, it was like West Side Story like 5 years ago, and then it was... They went to the Roman Coliseum in 2016, and ever since then, it's just like, yeah, we're just a red bar. Nothing special. But yeah, looking at the card, Becky Lynch versus Asuka, that's going to be amazing. Buddy Murphy versus Tozawa versus Kalisto versus Hideo Itami. That writes itself too. Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey. Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. And 2 Royal Rumble matches. I will give WWE credit. This does actually sound like a really insanely good card. But the funny thing is, the shows that always sound the best somehow always disappoint you, and vice versa. But this would be a good precursor to WrestleMania. This almost sounds like a WrestleMania in of itself. It's almost that good. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm pretty confident, based on the card that they have so far, wouldn't be too outrageous to say it would be at least passable as an event. Another thing I'm seeing, does anyone else feel that Molly Holly is severely underrated when discussing great female wrestlers? I would say a little bit on the underrated side. She was more known for her character, kind of just being good, pure, and wholesome. And then she had that brief spin as Mighty Molly, which, if you're with the Hurricane, you're just bound for greatness. But, I can't recall any really, really legendary Molly Holly matches, with all due respect. Would she have been utilized a little bit better in this day and age? Yeah, sure, but there was nothing really character-driven about her besides having blonde hair and, alright, she could wrestle. I don't know, there was nothing that really took it a step further. Another post I'm seeing about the new WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, which actually, it's about time that they've done it. One of my old writers, his name is Anthony Zevatek, he did a piece on WWE bringing in a women's tag team division, so this is probably right up his alley. So I can't say I'm really shocked to see one develop. And ironically enough, the belts look better than any of the mainstream titles, so perhaps they'll be bringing in the design to go across all the titles, but if they could just make all those titles look exactly like the new ones, well, we wouldn't be having the problem that, a red belt is kind of ugly. I can't really get behind it, but that's another story for another time. Another post I'm seeing, with WrestleMania not being too far away, who should The Undertaker face and why? I didn't even know where you go. I guess we'll let that develop. Lot of posts on social media, and I can't really say I'm shocked about this one, is Alexa Bliss being in that segment where she's covering her breasts with a t-shirt. A little bit risque, but, they had to know social media would be having a field day with that. I mean, you throw her out there with just that situation alone. It's not exactly Shelton Benjamin and Trish Stratus 2004, 2005 risque, but it's pretty up there for what you would consider a family product. Well, at least a little bit less than a family product nowadays. It's not like they've gone full on just like it used to be, but they've gotten a lot more lenient with things. So at least they have that. Definitely seeing a lot of posts about the championships, the women's tag team titles, and it's really cool that they have redesigned them, per se. I want to see this happen to all the belts, and then we'll really be happy. And other than wrestling or seeing a lot of rants on Donald Trump catering a McDonald's for the White House, there are no words. But underneath that is a picture of the NWO. When you NWO, you NWO for life. And I'm going to just go ahead and share that because it's one more for the good guys. There we go. I do miss those days. I was like 5 years old when it came out, but I did get around to watching a lot of WCW 97, thanks to WWE 24/7. It has been about maybe 12 years since I actually have watched it again, but you could really tell they were ahead of their game, at least production-wise, broadcast, quality presentation, all that good stuff. Oh, Ryan Clark is predicting Balor defeats Lesnar. He's calling it now. Refer back to this post after the Royal Rumble. See you then. It's a bold statement, but I don't see it happening. Just to get the win over Cena was enough to buy him in that picture in the match, but again, him beating Brock Lesnar is a whole different story entirely. Though it could set up some interesting scenarios come WrestleMania, I just don't see it developing. Brock Lesnar is just too much of a household name, albeit a part-timer. It's WrestleMania. His name has been featured at least the last 5 or 6 years. Why are they not going to bring him in as a champion? It just makes no sense to do otherwise. And again, it's not to say you can't have Balor and Lesnar at WrestleMania again. You throw someone else in there, maybe a fatal 5-way. Those tend to be popular lately. But again, we'll see how that develops. There's a lot of transformations. Someone drew up one about Staten Island. That's pretty hilarious. The traffic does not change. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good time for WWE right now, it being the Royal Rumble and all. And at least they are attempting to do things. Raw was, from what I heard, one of the better episodes. So it's good to see at least they're not going with the whole McMahon's run the show, and at least it's not that same formula. At least this is something they could work with. So at least there's that. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about the Royal Rumble card. Can't really say it's a bad one. Someone's posting, how hard did aging hit you challenge? Upload your first ever profile picture and your most recent profile right next to it. They got a picture of John Cena from 2002 and a picture of JBL from 2004. Well, that just tells itself. I have no words to offer that. Again, a lot of rants on Donald Trump and his McCatering. McCatering, hashtag McCatering. Somebody make that happen right now. I want McCatering trending on Twitter. I guess I will have to do that. Somebody put in a Hamburglar, and I'm gonna make Taco Bell pay for it. I can't. Social media, internet, never stop. Yeah, other than that, just PWP Nation posting, will we see the Demon take on the Beast, or will it be the regular incarnation of Finn Balor? I believe you go all out. It's the Royal Rumble. He would take it out for his big matches, so why would you not bust out the face paint? That only makes sense. I keep doing this thing where I put laughing instead of hearts, and it's just, Another post about John Cena putting over the Irish in 2019. As we all know how that segment with Becky Lynch went, and now Finn Balor just beat him. You can't really go wrong with that. Another wrestling discussion, is Michael Cole really that bad? In my opinion, I think he's a good commentator. He does annoy me with the "it's boss time," though. Michael Cole has been around for ages. He's never going to stop being who he is. His heel run was fun, but at the end of the day, he's the voice of WWE, and nothing will change that. Thank you for joining me for episode 5. Ta-ta.